Tens of thousands of Chinese students are scrambling to return to their overseas university campuses. That's after Beijing announced it would no longer recognize degrees obtained through online learning. Under this new rule, those enrolled to study online with overseas institutions now have to ensure they are on campus for the first term. With the new school year set to begin in about 3 weeks for Australia, many are upset that authorities have given such short notice. Most have to secure student visas, flights and accommodation before they can fly. And for more of this, let's speak to Lo Min in Shanghai. Min, as we just mentioned, if you are studying in an Australian university, you've got less than 3 weeks to go. Why did the Education Ministry give such short notice to students?
It's hard to say why the announcement came at such a time, but industry players tell me that it's not surprising if government ministries and bureaus are simply playing catch-up with the national COVID policy and now just making the corresponding changes to their own respective ministries' policies as well, because we know that the whole process in which China had opened up and loosened COVID restrictions came so swiftly that it gave people very little heads up, including workers in different government departments. And so the unfortunate thing with the timing is that it comes days before school is reopening, and it left many parents and students in a panic as they scramble to figure out the logistics of how to get on flights that are already fully booked, how to get last-minute accommodation. And some students are saying that they now have to negotiate with their landlords here in China to figure out if they can break their lease with as little penalty as possible. And for those students who were not planning to go back to in-person classes, they will also have to raise the funds for it, because it could cost as much as 5 times more to study abroad than if they were to study remotely here. And as one education consultant tells me, many students' internships are also on the line.
对啊，很炸呀，就是很头疼啊，因为很多人他们可能就想，趁着这一波可以在线上上课，那他们可以一边实习，然后一边线上上课，那他就可以比别人还没毕业，可能工作他已经搞定了，所以对他们来说其实有一些优势的。那现在就是他们很多实习的工作全部都要辞职嘛，所以现在就等于是留学生就集体辞职，然后必须回到原来的位置。
I want to point out that many students who are enrolled in overseas universities had already been able to return to their destination countries before this announcement was released. So this really just affects those students who had chosen to continue remote studying because their universities had offered them that option. But the Education Ministry has clarified that this is not a new policy. They're simply reverting to an old policy going back to pre-pandemic times, given that China has loosened COVID restrictions and borders are reopening and many colleges have reinstated in-person classes. They see no need to continue authenticating these online degrees that were really allowed just because of the extenuating circumstance during the pandemic. And this is all done in the name of fairness for every student.
Thanks for that. Lo Min reporting live just there from Shanghai.